Hi everybody, this is Ben Songrath, Lead Regional EdTech Coordinator with the Learning Technology Center of Illinois, and I'm happy to provide this month's Tech Tip video. Today we're going to focus on Google Docs and some of those new features that you might have seen trying to annoy you because Google's pushing them out on everybody now. But to get to those features and to see what they are, we need a new Google Doc. So here's tip number one. Maybe you're in a meeting, you need to make some quick notes, you're in a call, you're with somebody, you need some quick notes, just start typing docs.new up into your panel, hit enter, and bada bing, bada boom, we got a new Google Doc. Now, important to know, it comes up as an untitled document right away. So we want to make sure we take some notes here. Tech tips, we'll call it. And then when that's done, it's going to save it. And I want to click this arrow next to the tech tip here so I can move it into the appropriate folder in my Google Drive. I don't really have a folder today. Don't tell anybody. I'm just going to choose this RETC folder and hit move. Boom, now it's at least in a place that I know I can find it. Now, what sparked my idea for having this video were these three buttons now that Google has decided to force upon us every time we open up a Google Doc. And people are probably like, I don't know what those are. I'm here to tell you. So these are what are called meeting notes and email draft. Those are called building blocks. And Google has put those into all of our Google Docs now, which allows us to then start not from scratch when we have, say, a meeting. And you can also find these under the insert menu and building blocks. And you can see there's more than just meeting notes and email draft. You also have these different trackers that we can use or roadmaps, which are pretty cool. I'm just gonna focus on meeting notes and email draft for the purpose of this video. So if I want to, I'm gonna go ahead and click on meeting notes. And what that's gonna do is look on my Google Calendar for an event that's coming up. So I'm gonna look for actually IET, I'll use record tech tip video. Perfect. When I do that, it brings up this information here. So it's got the information for the name of the video, the date that it's happening, and then attendees. Now, nobody else was scheduled to be on this call with me because it was just going to be me talking to myself and, of course, all of you that are watching right now. But if I had somebody invited on this call, it would have brought up their name in a smart chip that I could then see all their contact information. It also now gives me a place to take notes and a place to take action items. So that way I know I can go through this, and now the action item is a checklist that I can then go through and check off when the action item is done. If you haven't used a checklist before, it's not just a part of the meeting notes, it's a part of all Google Docs, and that's actually up here on your menu bar right next to the bullet points, but it's not this bulleted list, it's this one right here. And that allows us to put in checkboxes. Now, maybe you don't love the strike through and you've used the checklist in the past. New feature alert, you can change that to just have the check, but not the strike through. Super helpful. So that's our building blocks. Number one is our tech tip number one as far as meeting notes. Very helpful in keeping things organized when you have those meetings with parents, other teachers, faculty, and even students. All right, next up though is the building block example for email. So to do that, I'm gonna go to insert, building blocks, and then email draft. I'm gonna open it up in this video or in this file first. You can see what happens. I get this item here with a body area, all the subject area to all that. Let me go over like a good cooking show back in the day on cable TV. Boom, already got one done. Here it is. So I have copy and pasted this Google Doc, this information I typed out in a previous Google Doc that I email out to every participant that comes to one of my drone workshops. It'd be much easier for me, instead of copying and pasting it, or maybe even just linking the Google Doc, that I can now copy this in, type this out, format it all, because it's much easier to add links and things like that in a Google Doc versus in Gmail. And I can then now send this to somebody. So if I wanted to send this out, I can type it all out here, type in the to area here. So I'm going to send it to student Ben, and I'm going to actually use the @student Ben, there he is, or I could type out his full email address. I can CC and BCC people. It's ready to rock. I just have to hit this preview in Gmail button. Pops up, opens up a pop-up window in Gmail. You can see there is all the information. All the links are live for them to go to. And then I can now hit send, and off that email goes. So it's great to create those kind of longer form emails that you maybe don't want to type in Gmail and you want all the Google Docs editing features. Do it in this first and then send it out. And then I'm also going to throw in this bonus tip. This is a great way to teach students how to use email. If there's one thing I wish I could wave a magic wand around, is that we taught students how to type emails like I had to learn how to write a letter when I was in elementary school. I had the format, I had to fill the worksheet out, I had to fill the letter out, all that good stuff, the envelope, everything. We need to teach kids how to send emails, like we had to do all of that in grade school and learning how to send a letter. Anyways, off my soapbox, back on to tech tips. One of the other fun ones that I like to show is inside of tables, actually just anywhere in a Google Doc, we can add in drop-down menus. So in this example here, this is actually a way that I'm using to sign up for presentations to our team so we can learn from each other. And so I sent the Google Doc out to my team, put their names on the side, asked them to pick the title of the workshop, and then I added in these drop-down menus for them to choose the date that they want to present to the rest of the team. How did I do it? Well, pretty straightforward. You go to Insert, Drop Down, and now we get an option for drop down. So I have the days one here, but I can add a new drop down, and then you can configure this to have multiple options for kids to select and drop down. Now, what's the benefit of this? Well, nobody can pick a day that's not a Monday because we only meet on Mondays for this type of a conference call that we have, our regular scheduled meeting. This now gives us our next few Mondays here that people can click on and choose, and then they're not choosing the wrong date. It's right there, it's controlled, and they can do it. So those drop downs, super cool. Also, bonus tip, putting them inside of a table, much easier to organize than having them kind of float all around in your Google Doc. Whew. Hope you're still with me. I got another one for you. Have you heard of a watermark? I'm sure you all have. You've all had to deal with them before. You buy an image, you see an image online, it's got the watermark across it that doesn't let you copy it because you don't want to steal other people's work. That's bad. What we can do is we can actually add watermarks into our Google Docs. I'm not going to do it from the purpose of like making sure nobody steals it. I'm going to do it from the purpose of making my Google Doc look way cooler than what it does without the watermark. So in order to do that, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go up here and I'm going to go into my Insert Watermark spot, and you'll see I get an option over here to insert watermark. Now I can put text in. So if you did want to put that watermark in, and you can see I type and the watermark comes across. This actually could be really helpful if you're working on a document, you don't want people to copy it, you can throw that watermark in. I'm going to put an image in though, because this is where I think it gets really cool. So I'm going to throw image, select image, and now you can go through and you can find stuff from your photos, your Google Drive, a Google image search. You can even do a webcam picture. So if you want to take a picture of your face and put it on your document, you're more than welcome to. I'm not going to do that. I'm actually going to drag a file in here. So we actually have an LTC drones logo that I think is pretty cool. So I'm going to drop that in, and then now you'll see it's now in the back of my Google Doc. I think that makes it look really neat. You can also scale it, but then I have it faded. So that way it's kind of just in the background there. If you uncheck that, you see it kind of comes up to the front and then nobody can read your stuff. Kind of the point of a watermark, not for what we're doing. I just want this to look neat. So I'm going to click that. And then you can also have over here more image options. So if it's too, it's not faded enough, you can change the opacity of it. And then now that's going to kind of make it much more subtle in the back, but it's going to make it look really cool. And so I would encourage you guys to check these out. They're pretty neat ways that you can do it. It doesn't have to be a black and white image like this either. You can put a full color picture back there and then just change the opacity down. So that way, you can still read the text on the screen. I think this is a really neat way to add some kind of flair to your Google Docs. Maybe it's your newsletter that you're doing with your kids that you're sending out to parents, and it just adds a nice little touch to the Google Doc. So that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed these quick videos. Again, building blocks, watermarks, checklists, all really cool ways that we can kind of level up our Google Docs and take them to the next level. That's redundant, but I hope you got the point. All right, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more tech tips from the LTC and your ROE.